Welcome to the Filmmakers Forward podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Filmmakers Forward podcast. I am Eric St. Martin.
I'm Timothy Dominguez.
And today we're going to be talking about screenwriting and specifically our relationship when it comes to writing and collaborating on screenplays that we have written together and help each other out with. So, cheers to that.
Here's that.
All right.
All right. Now, first thing. Kind of how we first got together, which was probably around June last year.
Yeah.
And you had come to me, or really sent me a script.
Yeah. Short screenplay that is out right now, My Symphony, that we filmed last year. And how that started was I've personally written a couple things prior to this and very naively haven't gotten many notes, I'd say, on any of them. Maybe a couple tweaks here and there, and so a lot had to do with just who you're giving it to, because I have given stuff to people and the notes just aren't quite the best, or they're not in the same mindset, or they're not, I don't know. You got to find the right person, I feel.
I mean, it also depends on who you're giving it to and what you expect from them. Like, if you want it to be, like, read legitimately for, like, a report back, or at least some notes on how you felt about it, or any type of inconsistencies, you do want someone that cares about it.
Right.
So, yeah,
and
it's hard to find that.
It is, because I've had a couple of writing projects, I'd say, beforehand, that it's just tough trying to get on the same page as other people. So in my mind, I am right alone. I'll never collaborate with anyone. It's just too hard. And then, so anyways, I end up giving this to Tim. He came back with some good notes, which were not just grammatical or structure-wise, even though those can obviously be helpful, but is the characters and how they're portrayed in the story, and how the story arcs, and how you enter into the second act, ending up in the third, and stuff like that. And so it actually was very beneficial. So that was very beneficial. I'm like, okay, the thing for me was how you understood the character and what they were needing, and how to present that character to the audience. And so I'm like, this is actually, they're very helpful notes. And so I actually went and almost did a full rewrite based off these notes, and ended up writing what is now my
That's
symphony.
A good thing sometimes.
It is, especially when it comes to your first draft to second. And that's just strictly my opinion. Write the first draft, get everything you got out there on page. It's not going to be pretty, but get out there, and then have someone look at it. If you have multiple people, whatever your process is, do that, and I feel like that's going to be the majority of your notes, or the bulk of it. And so with me, I tend to write this shitty first draft, here's some notes, and then I'm fine rewriting, but keeping the bones to it is at least what has worked for me in the last couple short films I've done, or short screenplays I've done. So that's kind of how we started. So we end up going back and forth, a couple more edits, and then we end up making this film. Going off of that, we ended up continuing to write. I had a feature film that I wanted to write, and I had a vague outline of the first act, and then kind of the plot points and the ending, and didn't quite know how to fill in all the gaps. I kind of was just going to start writing and see if I could make it to the end. Honestly, that's kind of how it went. It's my first feature, so I just do that. But it was important to have at least that outline down, and specifically those plot points. But I brought it up to Tim. I'm like, hey, I'm looking to do this feature. Would you be interested in taking a look at it, helping out? And from there, again, good notes, good insights, and we now are co-writing this piece together, and so that's kind of our on and off project right
now. Too much off than on.
Yeah.
At least the past 3 months.
Yeah.
But we've had other things to do.
Yeah.
But I think you had a great idea for the story. And I think going back kind of, you had the story, and then we did character breakdowns. That was kind of the main
That
thing.
was
the main thing. The character breakdown, free associate with that. Get the characters down. You get the characters down.
Right.
You know how they're going to behave. You know what they're going to feel. And as a writer, you know where they're going, how they're going to react to a lot of different instances in the script. So it does help with the overall story, I think, of knowing at least your primary characters to a T.
Yeah, and I think that's where we definitely agree upon, which I think is why it's so beneficial that your editing style and our collaboration works so well together, is because we do both agree on that, and because we will call each other out consistently on the stuff that we write. Is if it's not a fluid or sound or is too vague of a story or anything like that, it typically goes back to, have you done any character background research? Do you know this character? And it's like, I kind of just wrote this. Like, I can't tell.
It's because
It's
because you have this urge, because you have it in your mind. You have that idea, and you're like, "Oh, this is so good."
The idea
you want to get it down. You want to get it down. But you have to take the time for the background.
Yeah,
because it shows.
Yeah, and I think
it always shows.
No, and it is, and it's something that, again, it's not like we are the end all be all wise knowing screenwriters, but it's something that's very common, I'd say. When you have the idea, you want to run with it and start writing. But again, you will start to get lost if you don't know your characters, and so that's something we can hold each other accountable to, and I think it's been beneficial for our last couple of screenplays that we've been working on, and for sure a big help for the feature and how we got started. And so now we are, again, like we mentioned, we're on and off with it, but we have been going through it. We are at the end of the first act right now, going into the second, and
I think it's going well.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
But it is a lot because, again, we've done that research, and I think we're kind of, what's interesting is that we're not representing each character, but we are kind of taking each a character on in this story.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of helps as well. Writing for them, not that he just writes for one character, I just write for the other, but it is interesting that he's taking on the background for a specific, out of the two main characters. You're kind of taking the brunt force of that, and I'm taking it on the other. And coming at it from that angle it's just an interesting way to go about it.
Well, I mean,
I don't know if it's right or wrong, it's just what is
I think
happening.
You can choose however you want to write, especially with collaborating with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You do what's comfortable with both of you.
Right.
What's comfortable is what you do.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it, you're doing the structure right, you're doing some type of structure for the character background,
right,
for getting the outline, and you know your ending, like you know where you're headed toward. If we do character background separately, we both know, okay, we're both going to look at it. We both read each other's characters, and if we like it, then we're okay with it. And I think that's just more like how we collaborate, and I think that's important.
Right. And I think it's specific to this,
right?
The script too,
right?
Like if there's just solely a single lead, it may end up being slightly different on how we approach it, but it works out that there's two kind of so. Yeah. But it's nice, and it's so. Anyways, it's been interesting because we'll go. I mean, we're as slowly as we're going. It is. I mean, it'd be nice. I think there will be a moment where we kind of flush out this first draft and just get it out of the way, so we can critique it and make their
That's the most
proper
important
notes.
part.
But it is interesting. I like the way we are going when we're working on it. Is there's stuff that you need to research because it's a period piece in the sense it's late 90s, early 2000s. So you want to get stuff right, especially when it comes to like dialogue or what's kind of in and happening at that time. And you don't want to speak like you'd speak today. Obviously it's 20, 30 year difference, not huge change compared to if you're thinking of like writing a time period piece in like the 1800s or something. But there is different stuff that on how people talk and different stuff they'd be talking about. And so you want to do that research, and we've done that, but we're also kind of doing research as we go. If something kind of comes up, let's look back to, we got these two characters ending up at a film festival. Yeah. What was that film festival like back in?
Right.
And,
what were they talking about? Right. What were the movies?
Exactly. Exactly. So, working on the fly in that sense. Obviously it'd be nice to do as much research as you can prior to even starting the writing. But I kind of like what we're doing in our flow for right now. Yeah. It works out. So.
Yeah, it's been working out. So, and I like it.
Yeah. But as I said, and as Tim has kind of mentioned as well, we have been on and off and taking a bit of a hiatus on that because we've both been working on 2 short films ourselves, or short screenplays. One being your noir
piece. Yeah, my noir piece. It's been quite the challenge because I want to incorporate a lot of sci-fi. I love noir, but the specific films that are a big influence to me, at least in writing this specific film, are Sin City and Watchmen, as in the movie. And I want to incorporate sci-fi, but I know, considering the budget that we would need for that lofty idea, definitely more on looking at the realistic side of things. I can do with the character background that I have done, which is a lot.
Yeah. It's been great.
I can do a specific story within that whole world that we don't necessarily at this time have to put in all of the sci-fi that I want. And I think it works because I personally like all of the side stories. I like a lot of information. You keep on guessing what's about to happen. You want to know more. I love that. And
no, this is specifically interesting because like you said, it's, I want to say, caught me off guard at this was a well written, even like the first draft you showed us was well written, and for us it's definitely something that we can do within our Filmmakers Forward group, but it would take time to do and proper amount of funding brought to it. I think we could. I mean, I like it, but I think we should put a good chunk of time and effort into it, and not just kind of go with the flow, and whenever we feel like we're ready to shoot it, just shoot it. Right. Type of thing. Yeah. Which depending on which project we're doing, which script we're doing, different ones allow you to do that type of stuff. But this has been one that I personally, and the more we continue to edit and you continue to write, it gets a little lengthier, and I'm like, the better it gets, the more money I want to put towards it. I'm like, but also we're limited. So it's an interesting concept.
It's weird because I am new to writing, even though now it's been probably almost a year where I've been actually investing time into becoming a better writer. And this piece, I thought, first draft, of course, I bet a lot of people think their first draft is it's great, it's fantastic. Right. Doesn't need any changes at all. No edits. But definitely
been there.
First, first critique, and a few of the first critiques, it had to do with character. I mean, background, like, oh, this character, it doesn't make sense why they did this. And it's like, okay, why is that? And it usually, at least from what I got, it was how I did the character background. There might be some inconsistencies. So that's good to know. And also, just with the flow of everything, I think from the first to second to third draft, it's different. It's completely different. Well, not completely different, but it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
And adding 6 more, well, now it's 13 more pages than the first draft.
Yeah. And you want the pages to matter. You don't just want to fill in information just to fill in information.
Yeah, and I wasn't.
Right?
I had to fix things. But when I started fixing things, some more things come along, and I'm just like, okay.
Right.
I might need to do this.
I mean, it's interesting to see, like, kind of where we both started. And again, yes, we're still, I'd even say, novice writers. You got people that have been out there, right, that are 30, 40, 50 years writing and just laughing at us. But it's like, and where we're at even compared to a year or 2 or 3 years ago is just so different. And the more engaged you get into the writing aspect and the story aspect, the more you're willing to, like, listen and hear, like, the critiques without it's just so tough. Is you don't want this thing that you came up with to be completely beaten down,
especially after like 5 drafts, and you're like, oh man, I've done so much stuff, and then you get someone that just grinds on it, and you're just like, come on. No, it's good stuff. I like it. I love it.
It is, yeah, but it's a tough thing to get used to. But I think with this, and I'm learning a lot just by critiquing, and we also have, we should mention, Ian Gregory, who's part of this group as well, that is helping make edits and critiques to this piece, and he's been a huge help.
Yeah.
He's going to
helped
school
me with format
right now for,
tremendously on format.
Yes.
Because I knew most aspects of format, but definitely it needs to be, like, since we want to, like, elevate our own writing, we want it to be industry standard no matter what.
Right.
And that, he's been helping a lot with that. And I love him for it.
Yeah, it's helpful as much as you want to keep a lot of stuff the same or kind of in your own vision. You got to know the story that you want to tell, and are these critiques helping tell that story while making it better, or are you just critiquing something just to critique it blindly? Because you get those too, and you got to know. Again, that kind of goes to who you trust to read your script and make edits towards.
Yeah.
Because it can get that way, and it's, I don't know, I think we've both run into situations where you hear something and kind of like I mentioned at the beginning, where it's like, I don't know if this is, like, you quite get the story, you're just trying to say something, but it still helps. Like, every once in a while, like, those critiques, you can kind of be like, I don't think you're on the right path, but it did get me thinking this other path there that actually works, which is an interesting way to go about it, but
bad tweaks can help you.
Yeah.
Or bad critiques can help you sometimes. Like, if it's someone that, and you want them to give their ideas about your story, sometimes they'll give a critique that doesn't make sense.
It's something out there.
And you're just like, I don't know what you were trying to say.
Right.
But sometimes it's like,
it gets your mind going, though.
It does get your mind going.
It's the same as having, like, having certain people, like, watch, or like a test group watch your film. Like, all right, let's just see how they react. Oh, they laughed at that part. I didn't think that would be fun.
Right. Like, laughing at parts.
Yeah.
You're like, Why did they laugh at that?
Yeah, it's not supposed to be comedic. What is this? But it's those interpretations of your film help the same way that these interpretations of your script help.
Right.
Even if it's not on in your own mind, it still again gets your mind thinking. And so, this journey that we've been going through with this script has been very helpful for me, in the sense of like how much it takes to get a script quote unquote perfect, right? Or how you want it to look on a screen. And there's so much more to go. Obviously, the filmmaking process isn't just a script. I believe it truly starts there, and it starts with story. If it's a great story, and you got great characters, and everything else should come a little bit easier instead of fighting for it while you're filming, or in the edit, which is just like, all right, everything's done. I somehow miraculously come up with some way to tell that what this this screenwriter wanted. And the screenwriter typically being you. It's like, but if if you don't put the time into the script and then you're trying to fix stuff in the edit, you're like, oh my gosh. And so it's important. It's very important.
Screenwriting matters.
It does.
The story matters.
Yeah.
It matters more than people give it credit. Most people give it credit.
Yeah. And honestly, I've never, starting out as an actor.
Yeah.
You don't think of that. I had never thought of that. I never thought I would probably write anything, to be honest. And then you slowly figure out, I kind of want to write something, interesting that inspires me, or just interests me. Doesn't even have to inspire you, but just interests you. Sometimes just I'll write about this.
There has to be someone out there that also has the same interests as I do.
But then, the more you write and the more you read and learn about writing, you realize the importance of it, and just try to.
You don't have a script, you don't have anything.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. But I mean, that's not to discredit any other position. But
no, you're all bums.
No.
No, but yes.
Yeah.
You're very right.
Yeah, every position matters.
Yeah, it's a collaborative effort. Like we mentioned, even in the beginning of this again, is not thinking that I'd ever collaborate in a writing style or with a writing partner or anything, and then you find someone who understands story the same way you kind of do, or characters the same way you kind of do. It's the same thing with the whole with filmmaking as a whole.
Yeah.
Is you find that director that understands, you find the editors that understand your story, you find the actors that can portray it and understand it, and you constantly have that constant communication, and you end up with something great and beautiful or heartbreaking or whatever it ends up being. And that is the process of filmmaking. It's the same with writing. You just gotta find the people that you trust, and everyone is equally as important.
Yeah.
As long as they're doing their job and they care about it, but again, care about the story being told. It starts there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And just to jump real quick, since we're doing two personal short films, we talked about mine for longer than I thought, but yours, your piece that you're doing, which I have read and also given notes on.
Yeah, this is slightly different in the sense, same in the sense that it led us to our hiatus on our feature film screenwriting, but
That's
it
right.
It is different in the sense I've had this piece written for a while, and ended up pushing a different screenplay ahead of this to film, which we'll touch on at the end here. But I had a piece written about two hitmen, a kind of nature versus nurture piece, and so I wrote it, and I kind of just had it sitting in my computer for a while, and then finally, once I was ready we were looking for stuff to film, brought it back out, read it a few times. Oh yeah, interesting, right? This part sucks, this part's good, this part, maybe. But I gave it to Tim to read over and give notes to, and of course, similar to my symphony, he gave some notes, good notes, and I'm like, all right, let me go back to the research phase of this. And I think it's got a good structure, a good beginning, middle, end, pretty clear cut, but you could tell again the character background,
more substance,
a little more substance. Yes, when I talk about doing more research, I want to look into kind of the psychology of my two main characters and where they're coming from, and again trying to capitalize on that nature versus nurture aspect and bringing that into the story as well as the dialogue without pushing it. And so I feel like I just didn't know enough about it, so that's why I'm with Tim's notes and with where it was at. I feel like I knew that it was not ready, it's not a final screenplay, but I have been going back to the drawing board for that, and been doing some research the past couple weeks, and hopefully continue to do that a bit longer, and then I will go back to rewriting and hand it over to Tim, hand it over to him, and we'll keep critiquing until it's something that's
I think it'll be good.
Filming, but I think
it'll be good.
Structure wise,
I enjoy it.
It's
the ending. No, it's like I was playing.
No, it's something. Another thing that's interesting about it is that I want to do incorporate a lot of camera work in that, and so that's something I haven't written, and I want to talk with my DP about, like, have the story ready, good, but then also how do you incorporate the camera work, which that's something new for me. I don't like story is story, no matter how you can talk about the filming once it's done and complete, but it is, I don't know, that part's a learning aspect for me right now that I'm going to try to figure out how to incorporate that into the screenplay, or you don't necessarily want to say how you're going to. You do not want to put how you're going to film it. You don't want to say, "Hey, we're doing a close up here," and then have this kind of dialogue.
Right.
So I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes, especially the DP. That I just want to make that clear. But I'm just interested in how you incorporate that when I'm done writing it, and then talking to the DP,
right,
and how to end up filming it, because I want it to be a bit more uniquely filmed and have a little bit more fun with the camera work and movement with it. So that's just something that's just on my mind, I guess.
Right. I mean, I think it's a little bit easier to do that if you are working with someone you know. Work with someone you know, you have a good relationship with.
Right.
I think it's much easier to do that.
Yeah.
And I think it's almost a pivotal thing that you need someone that is close, that you're close to.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah.
It'll be interesting, but we'll see where this goes. But I'm eager to hear again more notes on it and make the critiques. It's getting more and more fun and less heartbreaking when you get critiques back to your script. When you know it's for the greater good and it's not just someone trying to rip it apart. Just to be a dick.
You don't know that.
True.
You don't know that. They could be just ripping it apart just for fun.
Yeah, some might be.
Giving you the wrong notes.
Some might be, actually. Some of these people I send it to.
Hey. Okay, well, we do have something coming along that is it's a challenge for us. And we both accepted that challenge. We want to do kind of a road trip type of film.
Yeah.
We want it to be, and we both, it's funny, we both thought about a feel-good movie.
Right.
That I introduced. Well, he hadn't even seen it. It's not even a diamond in the rough. It's a. I would think it's a kind of well known. I mean, I guess it's not that well known. It's A Secret Life of Walter Mitty. We love that one. It's fantastic.
It's great.
It's one of my favorite feel-good movies.
It's a great feel-good. It's got the aspects that we are looking to kind of capture, I think, and what we're trying to do conjure up here. The feel-good, the journeyman mentality.
Getting out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
And that's, a lot of people can relate to that, I think.
Yeah.
And fantasize about, like, hey, maybe, what if I just left what I was doing?
Right.
What would happen? What's the worst thing that would happen?
Yeah. You got a family, you got a job, everyone can kind of like, man, if I could just for just a moment, just have a little peace of mind.
Yeah.
I think we are, like we said, we're in the beginning phase of it, but so we're trying to come up with first the concept of the film and what we're trying, exactly like the idea of what we want our characters to go through. I think we've kind of come to an agreement. We're gonna have 2 characters. It'll basically it'll revolve around them. Mm-hmm. Once we have an idea of what the journey is, kind of their minor background is, then we're going to jump into favorite part, the full character background, and really build these characters up, and then start and then know our ending, and start working towards that, and how to go from the beginning to find our ending is, I assume that's kind of what we've done in the past, and works. So
I think it is going to be a fun challenge, because then we're specifically going to find the locations to go to and make sure that it's incorporated in the script and the background of why they're going there. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'll be interesting knowing that we're gonna go on this cross country journey, and then being able to write the story. So you want the story to be good and not quite think of exact places that you have to be. It's got to be some interchangeable. Like, you don't want to be dead set on something where you end up not making it there. But you want a cohesive story, but also keep it in mind. You do have to incorporate some type of locations that are necessary or interesting enough to be incorporated into the story. So it'll be like I said, it's a challenge that we're interested in doing. So
it'll be a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah. But again,
and no problems.
Stages,
Never any problems.
No, problems don't happen in screenwriting nor filmmaking.
But yeah, that one will be good, and hopefully before the end of the year.
Yeah, I think so.
That is kind of quick, definitely, but
it's possible.
It is possible. We don't want it to be too long. It's gonna be a short film. I would say 5 to 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah. And we, eventually got to get back to our feature.
It can't be too long. We had to get back to our feature that we keep on holding off for a little while. It's going to be 4 months now.
We'll get to it.
It's okay. But we have the character background and the outline for how we're going to get that done, so we can just go back.
We'll go. It'll be quick. Once we're back there, in and out. Good to go.
Good to go. Now, the last thing I have here is yours that is coming out soon. Very soon.
Very, very.
And that one, you sent it to me.
That was another.
I did that one.
Yeah, that was another one that I wrote alone or previously had written and then sent it to Tim. Again, quality notes, bit of a rewrite. This was a major rewrite again. Oh, it's kind of coming back to me a little bit more. Oh my gosh. Okay,
oh my.
Yeah. This is good. This was another one. This was
major
one that
rewrite.
This was another one that I had. I forget if you're there the day of. I had a concept in mind, and this sounds like stupid and cliche, but I dreamt of this story happening. And I wrote, it was a good idea, and so I wrote it down when I woke up, the main concepts of it. And when I originally wrote it, it was like a rom-com.
Oh, rom.
Yeah, and so we read it out loud. Or my original piece, we read it out loud as a group, and then after that read through, that's when I rewrote. Did like a major rewrite because of probably how people are reading the characters, and I felt very self-conscious about it.
Well,
but anyways, all that to say, this is a piece where we are now editing, or I'm editing the final bits of it. We filmed it a couple months ago in July, and so I'm the final editing phase, and hopefully it comes out very
soon. Just a
yeah.
few hiccups, I guess.
Couple of hiccups
hiccups
to take care of.
No, nothing major.
But,
nothing major.
It's
thankfully
it's winding down.
So
that's kind of been our journey on writing again.
Yeah.
For the people that have been writing for years and years and decades, maybe laughing at us, but this is how our journey. This is how our journey has started.
It is what it is,
and it's working out. So if you can find someone that you can either write and collaborate with, that's awesome. But if you can find someone that can even just edit or give critiques to your scripts, equally as important. And it's been very beneficial writing relationship for sure between the two of us, and I've appreciated it because, like I said, prior to this, I don't know who I trust with my script, and it sucks when you're in that situation.
It's hard.
You can't edit your own stuff. You need foreign eyes on it. You need other people to look at it and give you their
someone
input.
that wants to take the time to put in their own effort into making it, like telling you how they truly feel about every aspect of the script, but also know what to say about the script.
Yeah.
That is also hard, especially, if you don't have the funds to pay someone to do that.
Yeah. I guess
that's really what it is.
That should be like we have all of this is just people who we know. It's,
you
can't, like I said, if you can't find someone to pay to do this who does it for a profession, then
exactly
you got to give it to the
which is
people
fine
around you.
Yeah, most people that are in our position or worse, or even maybe a little better, they might have the resources to do that. So it's very beneficial to find those people that care, and if y'all vibe, then that it is
great.
It's fantastic.
And if you find the people that aren't given the best, aren't looking at the same exact way you are, find ways to use what they're saying to your advantage. Because don't just treat every piece of the critique as like a piece of trash if you just don't completely agree with it. Like there's something there, and let it at least affect you in a way that helps you alter your story in some way, or whatever you can. Try to find use for it, because it's not not just trash. There's use for everyone's input.
A lot of people have fantastic ideas about a story, but they don't know how to write it and how to write it effectively.
Yeah. And that's
and it's hard. It's definitely hard. It takes time.
Screenwriting stuff. I'm sure. We'll hopefully another year, 2 years, 3 years from now, we'll look back at this and it's like,
what are we doing?
We still didn't know so much then, and however much we've learned since.
What are we doing?
So beneficial, yeah. So
I mean, last thing is, for me at least, is screenwriting matters, and I hope you find the right person, or right people to work with to get your idea out there. And I'm assuming a lot of people feel the same way. They want to get their idea out there, and it's hard. It's hard to make it happen, and to make it well.
Yeah.
To where you're actually proud of it.
Yeah.
And if you get it done in general, it's a proudful moment.
Yeah.
I think if you're able to get something done. Oh, it's not. It's not standard. No.
No, if you have a first draft of a script, you should be proud. You know, as much as we talk about trying to critique here and there and get your multiple drafts in, like, writing's fucking tough. And so if you have something written, please, you know, be proud of it, but continue to write and find the next project and the next and the next and continue to do that, because that's what's going to get you better, honestly.
Yeah.
So that's it for today, I'd say. Great chatting with y'all, and hope to see you again.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
See you guys.
Fuck this guy!